All right, Josh, how's it going today?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. Happy to have you on.
Thank you, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Hey guys, I'm ready for my interview. Josh, where's the suit? I'm wearing a suit, Josh, because you said you were gonna wear a suit.
Connor, I told you this morning, I don't have a suit here.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is currently Wednesday, March 22nd, 4:26 p.m., and the weather is 49 degrees outside. Kind of a cloudy day, not the best one. That was my first ever pod intro. I was feeling a little nervous there, but
this is like proud parent moment. I'm not like, I don't have my phone on me right now, so I couldn't check the weather or the time or anything. So instead, I was like, we'll just pass it off to him today and we'll see how he does. I think you did a very nice job with it.
Thank you.
So
thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks,
round of applause. You can see our lovely guests are applauding us today. Our lovely guests today are Connor Heezen and Josh Hennen from men's tennis. How are you guys doing?
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
You're looking very sharp there.
Yeah, well, I had to dress for the occasion, it's the WLC Sports Pod.
Of course.
And as you saw in our lovely opening bit that was not staged at all, you saw that Connor assumed that Josh was going to wear a suit as well. And
we're in chapel today, and I go up to Josh, and I'm like, Josh, you know what would be really funny is if we both wore suits to this. And Josh was like, yeah. And Michael Sell was sitting right by Josh, and he was like, yeah, I can give you a suit. And I assumed, but...
Never assume.
Yeah, I know. I can't assume with this guy. I can't.
He left out the part about saying, text me if you end up getting the suit. And then I went on with my day and never texted him because I never got the suit.
Well...
Nonetheless,
that's all right. You know what? It's all right. It's all good.
All right. Do we want to start off and talk about some men's tennis?
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's do it. So this is going to be interesting, actually, having two, not one, but two guests on for the first time ever, but also having one of the hosts also be on the team. So
we're trying all kinds of new things here today. We got two guests. We got John doing the intro.
Yeah.
Technically three guys from one sport on one show. So
it is just a brand new, beautiful day.
And it's about to get serious because Connor just took his sunglasses off.
I figured now that we're talking about tennis.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's time to get down to business.
It's business time now.
Lucky for us, the tennis team has actually been getting down to business.
Oh yeah.
And we started off our conference season 2-0 for the first time since 2013. I read, which I didn't even know.
That's crazy.
But that is crazy. And so our first conference matches were over this past weekend, and we beat Concordia Chicago 9-0. We swept them, and then for the first time in regular season history, we beat Concordia, Wisconsin, our rivals, 5-4. It was a close match. But we were missing one of our best players, and it was a big deal. So I'll let you guys kind of recount and tell the stories from that one, because it was a really fun day, definitely.
We got there, and it was like really early in the morning, so I was like a little worried because I was like, it's an early morning. We're coming off like a later, I think we got back from CUC at like 4 or 5 or something like that. So it was like a long day the day before. So I was like, this is a tough team. So we'll see what happens. But then, Josh was talking about how it's his last CU dub match. So I guess it added a little bit more of like that factor that hey, let's just win this thing.
Very true.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was a weird order. Usually we do doubles first, but we did singles first instead. I think we finished a few matches before I got done. I won my match, went on with doubles right away. We got that done. And then Bryce Halverson, who ended up winning NAC Player of the Week.
He did.
Our 4 singles player, he ended up winning his singles in 3 sets. And then at that point, we had 3 matches. There were 3 left. So we needed 2 more to get to the 5 to win. John and Bryce then won their doubles match at 2 doubles.
Clutch.
Very good match. And then Matt Bass 6 singles, closed it out with a decisive victory.
Matt,
And we stormed the court.
We stormed the court.
That was maybe one of the coolest sports moments I've ever had in my life.
It was a big deal.
Was it like something like out of a movie?
A little bit.
Except for that, we had to run down the stairs to the hallway.
And what we had done is Bryce and I, our doubles match was the match that ended up tying it up 4-4, and we didn't want Matt to know that he was the last one on to put like all the pressure on him. So Bryce and I hid and didn't let him know. So when he won his match, he didn't see any of us. He thought we lost, and then we just ran out and like mobbed him. The only video we have of it is Bryce's, and he recorded his shoes the entire time. So not the best thing from here. But Josh, you mentioned that Bryce actually won the NAC Player of the Week, which is a big deal. It's like his first time winning it. And honestly, I feel like WLC doesn't get it for tennis very often. So it's really cool that he was able to get that.
And this is long overdue because Bryce has been winning matches left and right. I think he has one of the best win percentages in the NAC right now.
In our last 3 matches, Bryce is 6-0 between doubles and singles.
That's crazy.
Big stuff. And that's stepping up to a position higher than he usually plays.
Yeah, exactly.
But now we have Asa White back at number 2, so we'll all move down a spot, hopefully get even stronger. Our coach Jay always tells us that our strength is in our depth, and so I guess just like the guys lower down in the lineup have really been pulling the weight. So good stuff.
Depth is big in every sport.
Yeah, for sure.
It really is. Unless you're playing, like chess or something where it's just kind of like one-on-one, but
team chess.
I guess.
Team chess, you need like all good chess players because if you got one guy who's any chess champion and you need 3 wins. If I'm playing number 2, you're not going to have a very good chance.
Do you think there's injuries in chess? Do you think like as you're moving as you're moving the pieces, you get like a finger cramp and you're like, check me in, check me out, coach.
Sprained thumb.
Yes.
As he's moving his rook.
Gets like a blister or something. Can't go on.
He's out.
Yeah,
he's out.
Okay, actually. In a very strange way. That actually reminded me of a question that I was planning to ask when we got tennis people on, and I forgot about it until just now. But I was thinking about this. I know this is a thing for me, but I want to get your guys' take on it. So tennis to me is always interesting because in sports like baseball, basketball, football, if you're having an off day, like you can hypothetically get taken out of the game, right? Like, I mean, obviously there's bigger things like if you're a player or you're getting taken out because you're having a bad game. Like, obviously that's a big thing. But with tennis, once you get out there, if you're having a bad game, you just got to finish. Like, it's all... So I guess, like, that's not really a question, now that I think about it. But, like,
you answered.
No, it's a good thought, though.
Yeah, but, like, do you guys find, like... What do you guys think about, like, the mental aspect of the game, I guess, is my question for you.
It's hard because, especially singles, it's a long match. Like, you're on the court. If it's a close match, hour, 2 hours... And it's just you out there. Like, you have your coaches in between, and then sometimes you got teammates cheering you on. But, like, it's all on you, and in a close match, if you lose focus for a few points, that can cost you the match. So that can be very challenging. It's hard when you don't have teammates right there to pick you up. Like, you make a mistake, nobody else can make up for that mistake for you. It's all on you, which can be challenging.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely different. The mental aspect in college tennis, and I think this is for most college sports, but the mental aspect in college tennis is way different than high school tennis. Because in high school tennis, you're kind of playing for yourself, Like, you're playing for your own win in that because you're trying to develop your own game rather than necessarily your team's. Because a lot of people who play tennis in high school, I mean, they play other sports. Other sports are their main sport.
Yep.
So I feel like once you get to college where there's people that this is their main sport now that they're playing, I think it becomes more of a team thing. So when your team is gelling, especially like in doubles, I find, like, if you and your partner are gelling, like me and Josh are going to see you dub. But if you're gelling with your partner, I feel like that amplifies your game. Like, you play way better because of it. So
yeah, and I think like this year, probably better than the previous 2 years, I would say. Josh, you can confirm or deny that. But I feel like we have a better team dynamic this year, and that goes a long way for just like the team dynamic and how it feels to play and know that your teammates are cheering you on. All good stuff. So very cool for sure. So I want to mention one last thing about men's tennis here before we move on. Our next match, we'll play it on Sunday, so it'll be the day before this goes up for you at home. But the team that we play is Marion. And Josh has a very interesting story about the time that we played Marion my freshman year, his sophomore year, involving Bubblers. I'm just going to let you take it away, Josh.
Yeah, so I got to start with going back to my doubles partner from then, Stuart Wooler, who actually is the one who convinced me to join the team. So we played doubles together, and one day we decided we should shotgun Bubblers. Just randomly, we did this in his room. Bubblers are like carbonated water, caffeinated.
Yes.
I see like the cans of them just all over the place now. So
Very important to note for this, they are non-alcoholic drinks.
Yep.
I know shotgunning sometimes has like that connotation, but they are not. There's no alcohol contained.
Also very important to note that these are not drinking fountains that we're referring to, because that's actually what I thought this was going to be about when you said there was a Bubblr story. So
that's a good call. Anybody outside, anybody who's not from around here is not going to understand that.
I think,
they are non-alcoholic. They do look similar to White Claws, though. That's an important detail.
Yes.
But so we did that one day, and then we decided before our first match, this was spring of my sophomore year, we would shotgun Bubblers together before every match we played together for doubles.
It was quite entertaining to watch.
Yeah, we'd bring the team together, kind of a hype-up thing, kind of just because we could. And so that was a fun thing. But then we get to play Marion, and they only had 4 guys. And you usually play 6. So Stu this match didn't come along. He had something else going on. And then the rest of the team came along. Me and another guy, Ryan Crick, sat out. And I decided it was men's and women's matches together because we played at the same time as the women's for all our matches that spring because of COVID. Yep. So I decided for every match we win until we clinch both matches, I would shotgun a Bubblr. So after each match, me, Ryan Crick, who also wasn't playing, and then anyone else who was just chilling, waiting for their match to start, would walk out with me in my car, go to my trunk, pull a Bubblr out, and shotgun it. And this is painful, I should know.
I assume that this is just a joyride.
They're very carbonated, and it hurts. So I got through about 3.5. 7 was the goal. 3.5 was all I could do. And then I think I handed the rest off to other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, we won both matches. Everything was great. I kept the cans in my trunk.
Right, didn't think anything of it, right?
And then a few days later, the coach texts. I should note, when he told me I wasn't playing in that match, I asked if I could do this. I think his exact words were, I would encourage this. So I did have permission to do this. But he texts our group chat and says, Josh, you got reported to the conference for drinking alcohol and smelling of alcohol at a conference match. At this point, I was 20 years old. I had never had alcohol in my life. And they reported me to the conference for drinking it, which I could see how maybe you could think it, but like...
But the smell is what gets me.
Smelling it.
Because like...
What did they smell?
They smelled alcohol.
But it's not alcoholic.
Yeah, I know. I think they were just...
I feel like
making it up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that they just threw in.
So yeah.
But
clearly Josh was just like so on top of his game that they were looking for anything to take him out.
Exactly. Even though he wasn't playing.
Yeah. The ops.
We should say also like we're not like trying to like hold a grudge or like be like angsty at Marion or anything like anybody. Like again, we understand like
it's always important to put disclaimers in here.
Yeah. Well, we're not trying to like offend anybody because like I get how you could maybe think that.
Right. Like circumstantially, like
I could have done it better. I went out to the car because I didn't want to be in their face about it. Like we already won the match. I don't want to be showing bad sportsmanship. I wanted to do it out of the way.
Right.
So
Josh does all of his shotgunning the right way.
Yeah.
So he's a gentleman.
I could see how it looked sketchy, but it would have been nice if, they had asked me what I was doing, or
Right.
also just not made up the fact that they smelled alcohol.
Right.
Because, like
But-
I said, I definitely didn't smell like alcohol. I had
No.
never drank alcohol in my life.
Yes. So knowing all of that is just very funny being on our side. I wonder what it was like being on their side.
Yeah.
But we just had to throw that in as a note because we are playing Marion on Sunday. And then we can use that as a segue to our next home match, April 1st. Not an April Fool's Day joke, but it is against Lakeland at Pleasant Valley Tennis and Fitness Club in Jackson, Wisconsin. Still waiting for Jack to come to a match if he's ever home. We'll see if it ever happens.
Well, we'll see. What day of the week is it?
April 1st. I want to say it's Saturday.
Saturday.
I want to say it's
Yeah,
Saturday.
No, we're gonna be playing a baseball game that day. So.
Yeah, you are against the UW. It's down.
Yes.
It's down in the nuts. Well, hopefully, I don't know. We'll segue to that
Yeah.
because the next thing that I have in the agenda, we'll transition to the spring break groups that had their trips. Tennis did not have a trip this year. We got to come back and play over the weekend after, but we didn't have a trip.
Chicago was cool.
We did get to go down to Illinois, so it was nice and windy
Illinois.
and freezing. I think it was like
Windy and
sideways
cold.
snowing because it was so. Yeah,
I was
it
wearing a t-shirt too.
Yeah, not fun. But baseball and softball did not have that experience. Starting off talking about softball, they had a 4-6 spring break record. They had wins against New England, Plymouth State, Mount St. Mary, and Augsburg. Those are schools from New Hampshire, New York, and Minnesota. I just threw that in there as a little note because I didn't know that personally. But I think it's cool that they got to play different teams around the country. And I noted that Lexi Martin, she's a junior this year in my class, is 4th in batting average and 3rd in home runs in the NAC already. This has been pretty consistent from Lexi over the past couple of seasons, so we'll probably be mentioning her name in future podcasts. But that was just something to know about the stats there. They have their next games are a Wednesday doubleheader versus Carthage, and then their next home games are April 2nd, a doubleheader against Dominicans starting out in conference play. So yeah, and then I guess for baseball, I have stuff written down, but I literally wrote Jack can talk about this stuff more. So I'm just gonna let
Okay.
you take it away for baseball.
So yeah, I've been waiting for this moment for many pods. We went 1-6 on our spring break trip, which I don't think is what anyone was hoping for. I thought we could have grabbed a couple more wins than that. We were facing some pretty tough competition, so that's part of it too. I'll stick to the positives. We had a couple of shining stars on the pitching staff. Andrew Muffler looked really sharp. He's looking for a bounce back season this year. Threw really well on opening day. He kind of got the short end of the stick because we lost 2-0. He ended up going. It was a 7-inning game, and because we were the road team, that means that since we were losing, he didn't have to throw a 7th inning. So technically, he threw a complete game. 6 innings, 2 runs. Did very well in that game.
nice.
Second start, he did pretty well in that start too. He got a little bit of the short end of the stick again because it was a little bit of a tight strike zone. Some wacky batted ball stuff happened in one of
Gotcha.
the innings where a couple runs scored that probably shouldn't have. But no, he threw the ball very well both games. Tyler Danko looked very good both times that he was on the mound this week. Threw the ball really well. Really excited to see what he can do this year. Out of the bullpen too, we had a couple of first-year guys who did a really nice job. Kind of showed some things. Caden Tresky, he's a freshman this year. We threw him into some pretty high leverage spots throughout the week, and he responded very well. Made some big pitches, so that was fun to watch. Will Tucholsky, who is technically a sophomore this year, but he's coming off of an injury. His freshman year, so this is technically his debut season. He got a couple of high leverage spots as well. Did a really nice job. Senior Hunter Martin did well too. He's kind of a veteran of the staff. Got a lot of ground balls and some high leverage spots. He actually finished off our only win of the week.
Nice.
Him and Will and Caden handled those final innings to hang on to a lead, so they did a very nice job there. So very excited about what we got out of the pitching staff this week. And I know I kind of brought this up before we started. On the coaching side, we've put a lot of work, me and our pitching coaches, we put a lot of work into kind of overhauling the way that we develop our pitchers and the way that we, kind of try to help these guys get a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And it's nice to see some results from that. The guys have been great with it too. They've done a really good job of kind of understanding what the things are that they can get better at and understanding what their strengths are and how they can maximize that. Catchers have done a really good job just with handling the pitching staff so far. So it's been really nice to kind of see that group effort come together for everyone. Now we just got to try to get the bats going and see if we can play some more complete baseball. from here on out, we got a lot of season left, so hopefully we can right the ship a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it sounds like even though the outcomes weren't necessarily what you guys wanted to see, you still have some good spots to develop on and good stuff to improve on. And
a lot of stuff to get better at, but at the same time, there were some things that we saw in Florida that we were pretty happy to see.
Yeah,
so.
you got that foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good to hear. I also just wanted to talk to you, Connor, about baseball because now this might be a little confusing. It's confusing to me, definitely. But Connor, despite being on the tennis team, is the baseball team's social media manager or Instagram manager?
Like I mostly work with the Instagram. We have 4 people on our social media staff, so yeah.
As long as we're talking about social media, I should give a shout out to Matt Edwards, who came along for our Florida trip. He was kind of in charge of social media that week, posting video highlights, game updates. He did a very good job. I was following it throughout the week. It was really cool to see the stuff that he was putting out. So nice work, Matt. Back to you.
Yeah. No, we have a really good social media staff. We all are pretty creative and all like respect the game, and we like the people on the team. So it makes it easy.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Did you play baseball personally at any point?
You know what? So actually, this is kind of a funny story. So basically, I'm like a little kid, and as a little kid, I did like every sport imaginable.
Yeah.
I actually have a record in Pulaski wrestling that I like to tell people this joke that I have the fastest takedown in Pulaski youth history, and I was pinned in 5 seconds. So yeah.
I don't know much about wrestling, but I know that's not what you want.
Not exactly what you want, but yeah. But no. So what happened was I was like 3rd grade, 4th grade, and I was like, I kind of want to play baseball. So I told my mom this, and we were gonna sign up, but we missed the sign up day. So I had to figure out, little ADHD riddled Connor needed to find out what to do with the summer. So my mom signed me up for tennis, and that's kind of where it all started.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the origin story.
Fast forward to now. And
Yeah. And now I'm playing college tennis, so it's
now
kind
you're
of cool.
beating Concordia.
Now with Josh.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Josh.
Exactly.
Might add.
Yeah, see, I'm realizing it makes perfect sense that we invited both you guys on as a doubles team. Like that, But yeah, all right. So I guess to wrap up for baseball, I saw you guys have 4 games versus Northland coming up?
Yes, we do this weekend.
That's crazy.
Technically, they'll both be done by the time all 4 of them will be done by the time this episode goes up. We're playing doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday. So 4-game set. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, I think that we like the matchup quite a bit for us. So hopefully we can pull out a couple wins here. We'll see what happens.
What's it like playing a team 4 times? I mean, obviously you're playing against different pitchers and like everything, but like most of at least for pitchers facing batters, like it's got to be the same guys, Like
yeah, I mean, I think it's anytime you got a 4-game series, it's a good opportunity to gather scouting reports on hitters.
Gotcha.
Especially once we have information on guys already, but once we see them, however many 4 times in one weekend, basically, that helps with getting more information on those guys. You kind of learn how to attack them a little bit better towards the end of the weekend. But yeah, I think that even really the bigger challenge when you're playing 4 games in 2 days like that is figuring out how you're going to get through that from a pitching standpoint.
Yep.
I mean, it's just it's an all hands on deck effort. And I think that's an area where we were kind of shorthanded last year because we didn't have a lot of depth with our pitching staff. Just the fact that we didn't have the best incoming class. We just didn't have a lot of guys on that staff. We weren't very deep. We had some injuries as well. Guys who missed almost the entire year, kind of guys that I talked about before. This year, though, we got a lot of guys on this staff. We're a lot deeper. I know we were talking before just kind of about depth applying to just about every sport. It's especially true in baseball.
Yeah.
Because baseball, I think, more than anything else, is really, it's a deep team game.
Yes.
You got to get contributions from a lot of guys if you're going to win games. And that's especially big in our playing environment where you're playing so many games in such a concentrated amount of time. You got to have guys filling innings for you, and guys got to step up. So we got a staff where I think that we have a better chance of doing that this year. So we're going to see how that plays out.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. And then the next home game you guys have is April 1st as well, versus Concordia, Wisconsin. If you're not at the tennis game, or if you're not at the tennis match, Jack will expect to see you there.
It's listed as a home game, but you never know how many games they're going to be able to play at Newman in the spring, because I think I told someone a couple days ago, it's basically a swamp.
Yeah.
Like and nothing against like our complexes. It's just, the reality of it is if you have tough weather, like the field isn't going to drain very well. We're playing on, like an all natural field, a dirt infield versus, playing on turf or something. But
right. So would you hypothetically be playing at Concordia if Newman's not?
I don't know for sure where we're going to be playing, what our neutral site would be. I know last year it was Concordia most of the time. So we're making some calls. We'll see how it plays out.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. Well, regardless, April 1st, game against Concordia, Wisconsin, men's baseball.
Yep.
All right. Now we have 3 sports to kind of wrap up on. Not a ton to talk about for each of them, just because of either just kind of like inactivity. First, we'll talk about men's volleyball. They've been kind of seeing a tough losing streak recently once they got into conference play. But the last match that they had that I was able to see on the website before the time of recording was against Lakeland, and they took 2 of the 5. It was 2-3. So a close match at least, and it looked like they won the second and third, I want to say. So I guess good stuff in that last match, and hopefully looking to take a win. They've got a couple matches coming up here: Friday versus Concordia Chicago, Saturday versus Dominican. Those will be up and updated on WLCsports.com. And then their next home match is March 29th versus Edgewood, and that's senior night. So come on out, support the guys in their endeavors there. I don't really have anything else about men's volleyball unless anybody here has a comment.
I just want to say shout out Drew Wepner. He's a real one.
No.
That's all I want to say.
Okay.
We're devolving into a platform for shout outs now. What's going on here?
Shout out Isaac Stoic from men's volleyball for wearing the cowboy hats with me this morning.
Yeah, they walk into class with matching cowboy hats on, and our professor didn't know what to do.
I actually saw that. I saw there were people in 3 cowboy hats or something like that walking by, and I was like, what? Who are those?
Enjoyed it.
So I've owned a cowboy hat for a while because I have a buddy who formerly worked at Cabela's, and at the time he was able to get me a free cowboy hat because who doesn't want a free cowboy hat?
Exactly.
And then Isaac went to Texas over spring break for their choir tour trip, and I found out that he bought a cowboy hat when he was in Texas. So I sent him a text last night actually, and I'm like, I hear that you have obtained a cowboy hat. I also own a cowboy hat. Let's wear cowboy hats to COM tomorrow, and he was all in. So.
Sweet.
And a beautiful moment was born.
We love it when a plan comes together.
We do. But yeah, men's volleyball, shout outs all around. Love it. Going on to track and field, they have had probably the longest period of not having anything. But this past Friday and Saturday for you, coming up for us, they have a trip down to Memphis, Tennessee for the Rhodes Invitational. They've done this before. I know my roommate and some of the other guys that I'm friends with are really hoping to get to the Bass Pro Shops Pyramid. Yeah, is really hoping to go to the Bass Pro Shops Pyramid again because he's really into that. Direct competitor with Cabela's, so
Mm-hmm.
But so they've got their trip. Didn't have anything over spring break, but now they've got a small trip coming up here. And then their next meet is April 1st as well. So if you're not at baseball or tennis, you better be supporting track over at Carroll for the private college championships there. And then finally, a sport that we haven't talked about since the fall is men's golf is back in action. Saturday and Sunday, they have the Jim Weatherby Memorial Invitational. I forgot to write down where that was, but I really like the name Jim Weatherby. And then their next event is April 1st and 2nd. So if you're not at any of the other things, support golf at the Monmouth Spring Invite. Sweet. And that's just about does it for our first episode of spring only sports. Yeah. So
we made the transition. So
exciting stuff there.
When's the first day of spring? Isn't that supposed to be?
It already happened.
No,
it already happened.
I think it was 2 days ago, March 20th. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we're officially in spring now.
I'm really behind. So
yeah,
That's all right. That's all right.
but
Midterms kind of kind of did me in low key with. I forgot what days were days.
My sense of time has just been messed up since the two-way 24-hour bus ride to and from Florida. So
That'll do it to you. Yeah.
Getcha.
Yeah.
I told the guys I'm probably going to try to fly next year. So
Just by yourself, you're gonna take.
well, yeah, just because some of the other coaches fly down. So
I see.
yeah.
Oh, so they don't. I see how.
I mean, hey, we're talking about like a 3-hour plane ride versus 20 hours on the bus. So
True. Extra time to go get froyo or whatever else you guys do.
we did not get froyo
Oh.
this time, so I did not get to see my buddy at the gas station again.
That's
this year.
probably for the best for both of you.
Yeah. We just had kind of a clean break there. Like
Yes. Yeah.
we don't want to be part of each other's lives anymore.
For more background on that, go check out our previous episode with Brian Breckel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess anything else? Any questions?
Do you have any words of wisdom you'd wish
Yeah.
to impart on our guests before we finish up?
Well, that our guests are imparting on us is what you mean, right?
Yeah.
Or that I, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Watch the WLC Sports Pod. Watch it.
That's a great message because if they see this, they're already
already watching it. Yeah, that's not.
I like the enthusiasm though. It's a good try.
Yeah, shout out to the WLC podcast. My friends Jack and Jon are on that, and they do a great job. So
Thanks,
shout
John.
out
Really
to
good. You guys should check them out sometime.
These Jack and Jon guys sound pretty cool.
Yeah,
They
I
are.
agree.
They are pretty swag.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
They're pretty
I
swag.
feel like at least one of them could probably pull off a cowboy hat. Definitely.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Should
I think both.
It's sitting right over there. Should I grab it?
I think you should. I'll start wrapping up the episode.
I'll grab the cowboy hat.
Yeah. Well, while Jack grabs his cowboy hat, thank you all for watching. We appreciate you taking the time to come out and hear us talk tennis and all the other spring sports we had going on. Big thank you to you guys both for coming on. You've
Thanks
been
for
fun
having
guests
us.
tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Of course,
you.
You've been fun guests. And now it appears, I'm sure you saw it when he walked in front of the camera, but it appears that Jack is back in his glorious cowboy hat.
Yeehaw. Fun fact, I found this out this morning. I happened to be wearing this on the 45th anniversary of the Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson hit, Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys, hitting #1 on the U.S. country charts.
Wow.
March 22nd, 1978.
Basically
So-
a national holiday.
Oh,
if you ask
yeah.
me.
Absolutely.
I mean, I really don't think there's any better way to finish this one off than Jack saying yeehaw into the camera.
Yeah.
So unless you have something else to say.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Don't let your baby